Start.
We're live. Okay, good evening, guys. James and Jacqueline from Mind and Body Detox. But tonight we have a very special guest. We have the lovely Lucy that's going to be sharing her incredible results with us. And as much as Jacqueline and I will tell you about our programme, it's much more powerful when it comes from the horse's mouth, so to speak, and they can share with you exactly what they've gone through. So I've obviously said it to Lucy already. We greatly appreciate her giving up her Tuesday evening time just to kind of share her thoughts with us. A bit like Tony did on the video yesterday. Anyone that watched Tony's video, we've had, I think, already over 2,000 views. If you haven't seen it, I'd suggest that you strongly see it. It's a really inspirational and motivational video of a guy who lost 50 pounds in just 16 short weeks. And if you have a look at his start, where he started to where he's at now, there's some immense results. So Lucy, we're just gonna have like a chat, so it's like a really informal chat, really relaxed. If there's any questions that you guys have got, then Jacqueline's got her phone there, I've got the laptop here. Please fire them away, and we're just gonna ask Lucy some questions and we'll go forward from there. So I met Lucy at a...
Sorry.
I met Lucy at a private boot camp that I do for a family, and so what was your perception after you did that first session?
I didn't think I'd be able to do it again.
Right, okay.
How long ago was your first boot camp session?
I think it was about October last year.
Yep.
And it was really encouraging to have other members who I knew, and they'd recommended it. And I thought, well, I've got to get back into it at some point.
So how long had you not exercised for?
I've been doing yoga for about 4 or 5 years, but nothing like that since I was pregnant with my first child, it's only 5 years ago.
Wow.
That's awful, isn't it? I mean, I've done a bit of step in between pregnancies, but other than that, nothing.
And I've picked up, because Lucy does a bit of PT with me on a couple of times a week as well. And am I right in saying that when I overheard on Friday that you said that you, after we'd done the boot camp session, you'd asked the girls if they're going to the gym, and you said like you never could see yourself going into a gym environment.
Oh yeah, I remember them saying that they'd all, they've signed up for the gym and they've got to get themselves motivated to get to the gym because they've spent the money on the membership. And I remember saying to them, "Oh, never catch me in a gym."
And 4 or 5 minutes later,
there we are.
Brilliant. So you're already doing the boot camp. So what made you decide to do the Mind Body Miracle online wellbeing program?
Because a couple of the other girls had done it and had amazing results. Their skin had cleared up.
Oh, the previous one.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because you was on our second round.
Yes, yeah. And they said it was really easy. The results were amazing, and the food was delicious, and quick and easy to prepare, and available everywhere online through the organic companies, or Waitrose delivery, or the other supermarkets that do all the organic food. And I thought, wow, sounds really good. I don't like the idea of a diet as in restricting and having to buy special ready-made foods and going to a club and being weighed in and having to sit there and listen to rubbish. And I wanted to change my lifestyle.
Okay. So what had you done in the past and had it worked?
I'd done Lighter Life.
Had you? Right,
Yeah.
okay. How long ago was that?
And how much did you lose with Lighter Life?
I lost almost a stone in 4 weeks.
Okay.
And how much did you put back on?
Stone and a half.
How much longer
Classic
later
Lighter
was that?
Life.
Oh, I don't think I just made it up till after Christmas. So I finished in the November, and then by the April time, it was all back on again. Yeah,
okay.
It was the most disgusting thing I would never put anything like that in my body again. Okay. It was disgusting.
So if you haven't seen a video that Jacqueline and I did a couple of weeks ago about slimming clubs, where we looked at kind of Weight Watchers, Slimming World, Lighter Life, and we gave you all content about that. Again, I think that's a video that's had a couple of thousand views. I would urge you to have a look at that. We were expecting some real trolls to come in and try and kind of obliterate us, but there's still plenty of time. So I encourage any of you, and I say, as we said in that video, it's not about us belittling, because most people have been there in some way, but we express that there's a lack of information, there's a lack of knowledge, there's a lack of nutritional guidance because they're not taught that. So, you know, that's why we were so damning on those particular
But I
programs.
think what you was going to say was, we mentioned that with Lighter Life, the most drastic shift that we've seen is somebody lost 9 stone and gained 15.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So it's just a smaller version, but a ratio to what you had lost.
I had a friend who did it, and she didn't. She couldn't stand eating the packet food, so she just had the shakes. That was for 9 months. And
9 months?
Yeah, and
Wow.
she was size 22,
Yeah.
and she went down to a size 10.
Okay.
How's she doing now? She kept it off?
No, she's back. She's back
I
up.
was going to say, that's going to be the first person.
Yeah.
No, she's back up there.
And again, we shared in that video, but what tends to happen is you're on soups and on that particular diet, you're on soups and shakes for up to 3 months to 12 weeks, and your metabolism just hits the floor because you're not chewing. So that's one of the reasons why, of course, you're in a significant calorie deficit. You're going to be losing a lot of weight as well as muscle. So you'll lose pounds as far as weight as you measure that, but more importantly, the muscle will fall off of you, even if you train or not train. And then as soon as you then go back to eating, that's when people just do that, and that complete effect of the yo-yo diet. So before you come onto the program, or when you joined the program, did you have a specific goal in mind?
I wanted to put down some foundations for my old age, really. I didn't,
Old age.
I didn't want to be an old person. I didn't mind being old, but I just didn't want to be immobile and in pain.
Okay.
I think we'd had that discussion, hadn't we, where you were saying that you had been around people that had been starting to get quite ill as they got older, and you just couldn't imagine having to go through that in terms of the suffering, when there's a lot of choices that you can make to take a different path.
Yeah.
So okay.
So when you added to the program, what was your kind of thought process, your initial thought process? What was going through you when you saw the details that we were putting on the program?
It all really made perfect sense. Really, I looked at it and thought, at my age, why hasn't the penny dropped? Why couldn't I have thought about this? Because I'm not a dreadful cook. I do like buying nice ingredients and cooking nice food, but it just didn't dawn on me that I could do this. And it just opened up a whole new book of ideas. And
do you think the level of the information when you first got added to the page, did you find it overwhelming, or it was? No,
I thought it was absolutely great, because there was no reason to doubt yourself, because everything was laid out for you. You knew exactly what to do, and exactly what to cook and what to buy.
Did you follow the menu plan and shopping list to the letter? Or
absolutely.
You did?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm so pleased that someone does.
Did. Yeah, I did. And then it wasn't until about week 6, I think, that I started to sort of branch out,
tweak it, and it was on the recipe book.
And think, okay, well, perhaps I'll put cannellini beans instead of chickpeas, or perhaps I'll have tuna instead of salmon. But and experimenting with different herbs and spices. I've got this massive spice cupboard, and I think I used the first 3 pots in the front. So it's been great. It's been a great experiment.
So you were able to kind of gain confidence once you'd followed that process for a few weeks. Then you could then go into your own aspect and think, I'll have that on another night, or I'll substitute this for that. And that's probably one of the greatest things that we like to do, is empower the clients to be able to have the ability to then be able to then do it themselves. We can't be holding their hands for the next 10 years, but we give you enough of that information, and then slowly but surely release the reins, just so it enables you to then take control from there.
And I think that's where a lot of diets fall down. Not that we are a diet, but the traditional diets, they are very disempowering. So it's about have this shake, or like the Lighter Life thing, have this shake, or buy these ready meals, and then if you can't see yourself eating like that for the foreseeable future, what's going to happen afterwards? What's going to happen at that end date? What's going to happen once you've reached your goal? So it's got to be a lifestyle plan going forward for the foreseeable future, rather than just you get to the end of the 8 weeks, you don't eat like that anymore, and that's that.
Yeah.
You know, I've reached my goal. So on that note, what now that 8 weeks is finished, because we finished on Sunday, what's the plan now going forward?
Just carry on as I've been doing. It's great because I haven't got to look in any other part of the supermarket other than the first few aisles of fresh fruit, fresh meat, and fresh fish. It would be nicer if there was some more organic fruit and veg and fish, but we can get that in other places. So it's great. It takes me less time. I don't spend loads of money on rubbish.
And are you eating a greater variety of food as well now?
Yeah, we're eating a lot more fish, a lot less red meat.
Perfect.
And a lot less fruit as well. Not that I think that's a bad thing, but I was substituting. If I hadn't had many vegetables that day, I'd have like another 3 pieces of fruit, which is not. It's nice, but it is calorific. High in sugar and.
So that was where I think we covered on there about what we call the glycemic index of fruit. So having a look at what is a higher glycemic index compared to a lower one. So we advocate that people have a lot more kind of the berries that we say, so the strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, and so on and so forth.
That's just about stabilising blood sugar levels, because once your blood sugar levels start to spike, then that's when you can start to open yourself up to craving other foods. Is there anything that you missed that was not on the plan that you just thought, I can't wait till this is over and I'm going to go and have?
First of all, I missed bread and pasta, because that was always what should we have tonight? Oh, I'll just open a jar of highly sugared sauce and boil up a load of pasta, and then it just feel really heavy and bloated afterwards. So that was always a quick fix, quick go-to. But I must say now, no, we don't miss it at all.
How did you find the intensity of the training sessions?
Killers. It really was.
But you done them with the girls as well, didn't you?
Yes.
How old are your girls?
16 and 17.
And were they adapting the training sessions for their level as well?
Yes, we started doing it together. And then I would say something to one of them like, oh, don't forget to stick your bum out.
Yeah.
Don't just bend your elbows a bit more, and then shut up, mum.
Yeah.
So we have to do it separately. I don't think I've ever sweated so much in my life as the first HIIT session.
Yeah.
And we did it. We did set out to do it 3 to 4 times a week, and then we wanted to do it more, so we were doing it like 5 to 6 times a week.
Wow.
It's still, you put more effort in. The more you get used to it, the more effort you put in. It's still really, really hard work, but it is amazing how you feel afterwards.
And I think just to kind of make people at ease that are not necessarily fit or perceive themselves as fit, I pride myself, and when I'm doing it, I'm talking to you throughout the whole session. Which is a bit of a challenge kind of while I'm doing the session with you as well, but give you lots of regressions. So literally, if we're doing a squat, if you're somebody that really struggles to squat down to a certain depth, I'm saying, sit on a chair. There's lots of different regressions to make it applicable for everyone. If any of you joined me or don't know about, we've got a private, a gifted group that we give to clients, like a free group called the Mind Body Miracle community page. And because there was so much inactivity last week, with both children and adults because of the awful snow weather, I encourage everyone to join us and do that HIIT. And our youngest daughter Honey joined us, and she was doing all the kind of regression exercises, and everyone that did the regression still got a really good workout, but it was much more simplistic and easy for them to follow. So even if you're a gym goer, I'll challenge you. I promise you that everything that you do, I can give you progressions that will really push you out of your boundaries. Or if you're simply only able to do the very, very fundamentals, we also cover that as well. So what did you find the most beneficial? Would you say it was the shopping list, the menu plans, the recipes, training sessions, webinars, question and answer sessions, mindsets, affirmations?
Definitely the menu plan to begin with, that was brilliant. That was fail safe, because I knew then I just opened right, this is what I'm having today, this is what I'm having tomorrow. That was great, because I knew as long as I was following that and, you know, getting a HIIT session in at least every other day,
Yeah.
you know, I was going to see some results. So initially that was great. I was, you know, going to make myself a nice file with having everything down in print, and also having the HIIT session and having you do it with us as well.
Yeah. My dulcet tones, you didn't get bored of them at the end.
No, you've got, because you can't always, I couldn't always see the phone as I was doing it. So, you know, having calling out what number we're on and what we're doing now.
How long's left?
Yeah,
and so on and so
that's
forth.
it.
So you didn't have me on your big TV or anything along those lines?
No.
Because we get clients that send me pictures saying, like, I've got you spread all over the TV. Just...
No, I'm not that techie. I've still got my glasses on, trying to look at the tiny weeny little phone.
You only need the volume. That's
Yeah.
I know, yeah. The webinars were great as well, and all the information, because as you did, as you said, you did drip feed the information. It wasn't everything all at once.
Too overwhelming.
So
Otherwise.
yeah, so when I was going through them, and I was thinking, right, there's not, you know, there's no added sugar here, there's no added sugar there, there's no wheat here, there's no wheat there. So those webinars were absolutely great,
I think
because
the webinars are really important because it helps people to understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So the amount of clients that I get that say, yeah, I've cut gluten out for a while and I feel so much better, and I say, well, why'd you cut it out? And they're like, I don't know, just I thought I heard a lot about it, I thought I'd give it a
It's
try.
the latest craze,
Yeah.
whatever it might be.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me explain why that could have been beneficial to you and why it might not have been. And the same with the sugar, and we talk about inflammation, and we do the heal your gut, and it's really important to understand not just what you're doing, but why you're doing what you're doing.
So let's get to the crux of it, your actual results. Okay, so between Lucy and her two daughters, did they start at the same time as you?
Yep.
They did, okay.
Yep.
So between them, and, you know, as you can see from Lucy, she's a delicate thing here. She's not as if she was, you know, obese or anything along those lines. Between the three of them, in 5 locations, they lost a whopping 37.5 inches. And I think the most significant one for you was you lost 5 inches or 4.5 inches off your hips. Have you ever lost that before?
No, definitely not. I still can't believe it, actually.
Because you remeasured yourself 2 or 3 times to make sure, didn't you?
Yeah, did I have the measurement upside down? My millimeters for inches? Did I have my glasses on properly? No, it was just astounding. It really, really was. You know, I've been on diets before.
Yeah.
Not measured inches, always on the sad step.
The scales, yeah.
I know. I always measured my health by what's on the scales.
What's on the scales, yeah.
Yeah.
Which you know now from being on the programme is absolute nonsense.
Absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
Good.
Yeah. No, we couldn't, because we were, you know, sometimes I'd say, we haven't had our snacks today. We couldn't fit it in. We just weren't.
So that's a really good point. So you didn't feel
it.
that you were kind of deprived, or you didn't feel that you wasn't eating enough.
No.
You felt full.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and didn't miss the Sunday roast. Didn't miss, you know, the big shepherd's pies, the burgers.
There's
You know,
substitutes for all of those in there, isn't
Those,
there?
and they were so much nicer, so much tastier. Even my husband, who likes, you know, meat and 2 veg,
Yeah.
he absolutely, you know, has been embracing it as well. So.
And I think that's what's so powerful for us, and that what really strives us and motivates us is that the ripple effect that it can have on the family. You know, so when people kind of start to work with us as individuals, and obviously it was you to start with, and then you kind of implement it into the family. And now if you look at how they've changed from mindset, aesthetically, and from a general health perspective, I think that's what we get out of it the most,
Well,
isn't it?
that's, when you think about it, that's how the recipes have been created, because I've had to think about ways to change my children's diet very slowly but steadily, and they wanted to have burgers for dinner, because Angelica, who was 4 when I qualified, was used to having that. I was a frozen food mum, so I had to think of an alternative that she wasn't going to go, I'm not eating that, but she still felt like she was having something that was substantial. So that's where the Power Burger recipe came from. We're making homemade burgers with mincemeat, and the healthy shepherd's pie recipe came from just by making a few tweaks to a shepherd's pie recipe, because I've had to do it slowly and gradually. And you know that they don't miss that kind of stuff now. In fact, if we go back to it for a short spell, like on holiday, they actually say it's revolting.
It's horrid.
They change the taste.
You really notice the taste, don't you?
There was one gain you had though, wasn't there?
I'm jealous.
How did that happen?
I'm so jealous.
Not that Lucy had bad arms to start with, but there was one thing that she might have been slightly conscious of, which are a lot of people, a lot of women especially, share about bingo wings. And anyone that's in our Mind Body Miracle community page, I've shot a video about how to get rid of bingo wings and belly fat, which is going out to you guys tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But Lucy, in fact, put half an inch on her guns, but if you look at them from where they were originally to where they are now, they look incredible. They really do. So, but that was particularly amusing because on the message that Lucy shared with me, she did say, "Don't know what happened with my arms. Not bothered. I've just punched someone stronger, a lot stronger now because they look immense now."
He was training me yesterday in the gym, and I was like squeezing things out. What are they even called? I don't know. I'm not there. On the machine in the gym, and I was going, I can't do any more. And he's going, do you want arms like Lucy or not? I was like, I'm all right then.
Just quickly, so how did you feel when you look back now? How did you feel at the start of the programme in yourself, and how do you feel now that you finished it?
At the start of the programme, I felt it was something I really wanted to do, and I was really positive, and I did put my all into it. And I wasn't expecting overnight results, because some of the things that I'd implemented, like cutting out caffeine and drinking 2.5 to 3 litres of water a day, and I imagined my headaches would go like that, but they lasted for 3 weeks. I wasn't expecting that. And then my skin broke out, but then it all just, like after it had broken out, within a week it all cleared up. And I really did feel, not long, 2 or 3 weeks in, really powerful, really encouraged, and really light.
So emotionally wise, I was thinking that, did you feel beforehand, when you look back at it, did you feel bloated, or like just how did you feel from that essence, or did you have a lack of energy and then you found that you had energy?
Yeah, I did. I'm on the go all the time now. Probably not doing the things I should be doing, like loads of housework. But
that's fine.
That's rubbish. I hate housework. But I think not just physically, but mentally, I feel empowered.
Which is so important. We work on mindset so much on the programme, because I think that we forget that the mind and body are so interconnected, and even just that you had a little bit of fear at the beginning, a fear of getting ill, fear of becoming old, and just to alleviate that and not live in a place of fear anymore, it's a huge thing. Because when you're frightened of something, you carry that in your body. It's a tension, it's a stress. So even just to let go of that bit of fear and feel like you have control back is immense, and that's where the lightness comes from. And the
daily affirmations in the morning and in the evening when I'm doing my teeth, and I did feel a bit odd. You said, didn't you? You did feel a bit odd, but
you might feel like a bit fraudulent to start with, thinking like, what's this going to happen? What's this going to do?
You have that little voice on your shoulder going, "What are you doing? What are you saying?" That's it.
Yeah. No, it's funny now because it's you don't often look at yourself and talk to yourself in a mirror, do you? It's quite funny. And I do my gratitude list before I close my eyes at night, and that is really empowering actually, because there's so much to be grateful for. Even my husband says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Write my gratitude list." "What are you grateful for today?" "For having arms and legs." Because why shouldn't I be grateful to have arms and legs? Why shouldn't I be grateful to be able to go and look at the blue sky, or to feel the snow on my face?
I think because obviously Jackie covers this in the book, but people are always searching for more. They want vision boards. So what can I have bigger? What can I have that's better? Rather than looking at what am I grateful for, and I think that's a real key thing to consider.
There's nothing wrong with wanting more.
No, of course
not. If you are always thinking about what you want, then you're coming from a place of lack.
Yeah.
If you think about what you've already got and be grateful for it, then that shifts everything and it changes your energy.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you think that we could have improved the programme? Because obviously we are speaking candidly and openly, and there's a few things that we've adapted for the next programme, one of them being that we've taken it from 8 weeks to 12 weeks because people just want that accountability and a bit more support. But is there anything that you think that we could have done better, or there's something you would have liked us to have looked at?
I don't think so. I think the exercises were brilliant because they catered for people starting off, people that are used to maybe a little bit of exercise, that really want to push themselves further. You put in some vegetarian meals as well, which was really, really useful. I just loved the whole thing, and having 12 weeks, that's great. That's great. Yeah, because it's amazing how quickly you get used to something.
Yeah.
So having that,
it goes quick 8 weeks.
It goes very quick. Yeah. And having the little webinars and little bits coming up, and the Sunday night
question. Because it's funny, isn't it? Because you said somebody shared with you that their favourite night was Wednesday night because it's the Wednesday webinar night.
They couldn't wait to get home from work on a Wednesday because the webinar was coming. I'm like, don't disturb me on a Wednesday. I'm going to watch my webinar. It's like a new series
coming on the TV. Yeah,
it is actually.
So just finally, what would you recommend if anyone's just thinking about doing the programme? If they're on the fence or they're not sure whether it's for them, how would you recommend it to them?
Well, I think you've got to give it a go, because 8 weeks, an 8-week bet to better your life, to better your health is worth everything. Yeah. I think it's a no-brainer, really.
I've got your, I don't know if you remember, you sent me a lovely message, and I won't go into it too much, but there's just one thing that I wanted to share with it, and I kind of loved it so much that I've saved as a really big testimonial, but I'll just share it with you. It says, Lucy goes on, she said, I'd recommend this to anyone. It's a no-brainer because it's so achieved when it works. It's bloody brilliant. Everyone should be doing this. It's a life changer and a lifesaver, and it's a mind changer. All how the Dunn family, which is very sweet, which we love. Yeah. So that's great. There's no other questions that have come.
No, nobody's asked any questions to Lucy. I'm just scrolling through. No one's asked any questions, so you must be really believable.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I say we greatly appreciate when clients like Tony and Lucy have shared their testimonials, because as much as we kind of advocate and say this works, it just comes across much more naturally when Lucy's expressing what she's gone through the programme. Somebody can't ask a question there.
Yes, I've got one. What advice would you give to someone who's contemplating doing the plan but is worried that they could actually implement these drastic lifestyle changes, not just for me but for my whole family? I think they mean they're worried that they couldn't implement the drastic lifestyle changes. Would you say they're drastic lifestyle changes?
No, definitely not. They're maybe if you're living a life of
microwave meals,
completely sedentary and microwave meals, that might be drastic. But this is how we really should be eating, and living our lives. And our forefathers, our parents, didn't have microwaves and ready-made meals, so they might have boiled their greens to infinity. But that's just like being ill-educated, isn't it?
And they didn't have fridge freezers either, and that's why food was bought fresh, cooked fresh, eaten fresh, no waste. And there's a brilliant book by Sally Fallon called Nourishing Traditions, and that's what it's about. We need to go back to these nourishing traditions because that's when we was our wellest.
Yes.
And I think from that perspective, from that particular question, that obviously the support that you get from us on a daily basis will help you through that, and especially on the I don't want to confuse people, but on the 12-week program that we're going to be doing, it's going to be the one-to-one coaching, which you're going to get so much information and support from that. But even on this, the next one that's coming up, just this 30-day challenge, there'll still be plenty of information that we're going to be sharing with you.
And I would say that, and I speak about this in the book, and you've probably heard me speak about it lots of times before. I always speak about a rainbow bridge. I was trained with Paul Check. He speaks about rainbow bridge as well. and he says about no matter where you are on that bridge, it's about crossing it really slowly. So just take small steps to get to the next junction. You don't need to run all the way across it. And if I have a client that says to me, I'm a frozen food mum, like I used to be, I can't start speaking to them about organic food, and it has to be really small changes. Okay, what can we change that's doable, that you can implement easily? Because the minute you make a drastic change to somebody's life, they will back off and they will go, this is too much, I can't do it.
Become overwhelmed.
And we want sustainability. Yeah. We don't want overwhelm. We don't want somebody running for the hills because it becomes too difficult for them. We talk about this on the programme at the end when we say about 80-20 lifestyle, about at the top of that mountain, how am I going to get to the top? And it is one step at a time, tiny changes. Over time, the cumulative effect, them tiny changes can make a big difference.
And I think as well, Sarah just come back and said, I don't even own a microwave, which is brilliant. Cook everything fresh, just worry about things like pulses. So, I mean, the thing with that, if that's something, you know, we don't advocate that everyone has to have pulses, far from it, but if that's something that you don't like, we're never, you know, when we write nutrition plans for clients on a one-to-one basis, we go through a significant timeline that we'll be spending 2 hours at them, so obviously you don't get as much of that in a group format. However, if there's something, we're never going to tell someone to eat something if they don't enjoy it. You're not going to stick to it. You might have it for a couple of days and then drop it, which is not the point. So there's enough variation throughout everything we supply that covers pretty much most people's taste buds.
And I will say that our kids don't particularly like lentils and things like that. Really, as far as pulses go with them, it's hummus.
Yeah.
They just devour a tub of hummus.
Yeah.
So there's loads of what I would call traditional kiddies food that's been developed as to have a healthier twist, like the power burgers, and I mean, we even at home sometimes, not very often now, but we'll make our own version of chicken nuggets because the girls like to get involved in that. So you can do that with gluten-free breadcrumbs. It's really simple and easy. So there's always a good swap somewhere.
Funny, she said perfect. Just worried about the kiddies. The thing is, what tends to happen is you be the change, you become the change, and they follow suit from there. If you have a look at the way that Angelica and Honey have evolved now, we just to give you a brief story, Honey was with my aunt in the last holidays that have gone past, and one of her friends mentioned about a diet that she'd been on, and Honey, without us even knowing, just what she's picked up, who's 6, what she told her to eat was spot on to what we advocate, but she's picked that up. We've not said to her, you have to eat this, this, this and this. And this lady Jill was absolutely mesmerised that a 6-year-old had the confidence and told her why she's eating it, and the whole aspect around it. It was just brilliant,
what her main
it?
meal should be, what she should swap her snacks for, what kind of things she should be putting in her lunchbox to take to work. And I said, what kind of things would you say? And I was expecting like pom bears, and it was literally what
spot
I would say
what we say.
I'd say for a client. She was like apple and nut butter. And I was like, oh really? So yeah, she might be writing my nutrition plans in future. I might have a little PA there. So
I don't. Sarah Primrose, that's amazing. Thank you guys. Really inspired by you all. Thank you, Sarah. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, go for it. You can't. It is a no-brainer.
So then the 30-day. So that our next. Right, so I don't get all confused like the Facebook Live last night. Lucy did the 8-week programme. We're now making the 8-week programme into a 12-week programme, which is going to start after Easter, because obviously we've got to add lots of content, so it's going to take a little bit of time to put all that together. To plug the hole between now and Easter, we're going to do a 30-day challenge, which is very similar to the 8-week programme, but it's just for 30 days. And so the challenge is, come along, join in for 30 days. It's £97 for 30 days. You get your menu plans and shopping lists and lots of other stuff that we've been speaking about this evening. And then you can dip your toe in this in the water of this kind of online program to see if it's something that you would want to do going forward for a 12-week, or just take the 30 days, take the information from the 30 days and run with it for 12 weeks if you've got the confidence to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay,
I don't think there's any other questions.
If we've got no more questions, then
thank you very much, Lucy, for giving up all your time. Just really appreciate it.
If we can have a whole load of members like Lucy, that'd be perfect.
Yeah, awesome.
That was great.
Okay. Good evening, guys. Take care.
Bye.